Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathouts IAS. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 19th February 2022. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 6 topics which are very much relevant from our UPSC point of view. Okay, so now let us see the introduction regarding the topics. Now we are going to have our discussion. So first topic, it is regarding refugee and as well as asylum law. So here we need to know many things regarding the refugee law in India, and we have to know about refugees in India, and even we need to know whether it is signatory or not. Okay, so this is very important from our polity point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper too. And next topic, it is regarding Haryana's reservation, especially for the private jobs. Already you know, so it's saying that 75% of reservation for the locals in the private job. So this topic is also important from your polity point of view. And next topic, it is regarding India and UAE sign major trade pact. So here we need to know about India UAE relations. So that will be very important from your means. And next topic, it is regarding states discuss interlinking of Godavari and Kaveri. So this topic, interlinking of rivers, it is very important, and it is one of the burning topic. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes in the GS paper 3. And next topic, it is regarding new gecko from northeast gets army tag. Okay, so this is also very important from your environment and ecology, and this topic is especially important from your PRELIMS. And next topic, it is regarding hydrogen policy calls for more incentives, says experts. Okay, so these are the 6 topics. Now we are going to have a discussion. So for yesterday's, I asked way forward. So for that way forward, 2 people they gave good way forward. First one is Reshmi, and next one is Meghraj. Okay, so these are the 2 persons, they gave the good way forward. So in the same way, please try to answer today's question also. So if you watch this lecture, in between I will be asking you one question. So please try to give your opinions regarding that question in the comment box. Don't forget about this. Actually, this exercise will be very much helpful to write your mains answer, and even that will be helpful for your interview as well. So now let us try to start our discussion with a quote. Okay, so this quote, which is mainly talking about poverty. So already you know that poverty, education, they are some of favorite areas of UPSC, and you have to be prepared with the quotes, okay, before going to exam regarding some favorite areas of UPSC. So quote says that poverty anywhere is a danger to prosperity everywhere. So this is a quote which mainly was given by Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru says that poverty anywhere, it is a danger for the prosperity everywhere. So whenever there is a poverty that is seen, so that will not helpful for the development. So because of this is a danger to the prosperity. So this is the meaning of this quote. And now let us try to see first topic, is regarding refugee and as well as asylum law. Title says India needs a refugee and asylum law. So this article is very important from GS paper to under polity point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see central theme of this article, which mainly says that on refugee issues, it ought to be among the most admired nations and not one that has much to be ashamed as of now. Okay, so regarding the refugee issues, already we know that we are facing refugee issues, and there are a number of people who are mainly coming from the other countries and entering into India. For example, recent Rohingyas from Myanmar, and even there are a number of groups, they are coming from this international body. Okay, so regarding this refugee issue, India should be like an admired nation, but should be not ashamed. Okay, so this is a central theme. And now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail, and we are going to discuss something extra which is not present in this article. That is very much important from our UPSC Act. Okay, so if you see from historical times onwards, historically India mainly witnessed inflow of refugees from many neighboring countries. Already you know that India, which is mainly sharing border with 7 countries. So from all these countries, we are having some issues like refugees, right? So because of this, India has historically witnessed inflow of refugees from the neighboring countries. And these refugees problems, they mainly poses a important challenge for the state regarding economy of the country. So it will be leading to economic burden. And even whenever the refugees are coming from the outside of the country to inside the country, that will be also leading to some changes in the demographic changes. Okay, demographic changes. not only economic burden, not only these demographic changes, and sometimes we can also see security issues as well. Okay, so because of these refugees, we are mainly having some challenges like economic burden on the country, and we can see there will be the democratic changes in the long run, and even many security issues. So if you're talking about these northeastern states, they are mainly facing this problem of this demographic changes because of refugees, right? So however, taking care of refugees is one of the core component of human rights paradigm. So if we're talking about human rights, this human rights mainly says that whenever any person who is coming from the other country with a threat of with a threat, and as well as with the fear of fear, what happens? So that country that need to be provide some assistance to that person. Okay, so it is according to this human rights. So in case refugees mainly flows into India, they are unlikely to end any time soon. They will be given geopolitical, economic, and as well as ethnic, religious context of the regions as well. So now what is the need? The need here is we need to take some steps that need to address the issues of this refugees protection in India. Okay, we need to come up with legal and even institutional measures, especially to protect these refugees. So we're talking about India's refugee policy. So India do not have a proper refugee policy, that is, there is no proper specific legislation, so which mainly talks about problems of these refugees. Okay, so we are seeing there is increased flow of refugees in India, but despite of increasing the flow of these refugees, there is no proper legislation or there is no proper law that is present in India which mainly deals with the problems of these refugees. And we are having one important act, that is Foreigners Act. Foreigners Act of 1946, but this Foreigners Act which mainly fails to deal with the problems that are mainly faced by these refugees. Okay, so whatever the act that is present here in India, that is the Foreigners Act of 1946, that is Foreigners Act of 1946, which is mainly not properly addressing the challenges or problems which are mainly facing by this refugees. And next one is, further we are also having Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so recently we came up with the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. So it mainly excludes Muslims. So it is one of the cause of concern, right? So regarding the CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, Muslims were excluded, okay, from its purview to seek citizenship in India. So other people like Hindus, Christians, Jains, Parsis, Sikhs, Buddhists, they can get the citizenship, but this act, that is Citizenship Amendment Act, which mainly excluded Muslims. And if you see, in India it is not also a party of 1951 Refugee Convention, and even in 1967 protocol it is not a party. Okay, so because of this is one of cause of concern. And if you are talking about India's arguments for not signing this 1951 Refugee Convention, so what might be the reasons? So under this Refugee Convention of 1951, the definition, okay, the definition which mainly pertains to the violation of civil rights, political rights, it is not talking about economic rights. Okay, so the definition of this refugees mainly includes only the people who mainly had the violation of civil rights and as well as political rights, but this definition will not be including this economic rights of the individuals. And next one is, if a person who is under the definition of this convention could be considered if he or she is deprived by the political rights or civil rights, but not comes under whenever they are depriving of this economic rights of that so and so person. So whenever there is violation of this economic rights, they were to be included in the definition of this refugee. So because of this, India did not join or did not assign this 1951, okay, refugee protocol. And if we are talking about what are the challenges that we are facing regarding this India's refugee policy. So first one is refugees versus immigrants. So in the recent past, there are many people who are coming from other nearby countries and they are immigrating into India because not only because of persecution, but even they are thinking that they are going to get some better economic opportunities in India. So because of this, they are immigrating into India. So this is a one important thing. So they are not only coming because of state persecution, but even they are in search of good or better economic opportunities. And next one is, we can also say there is ambiguity in the framework. Okay, the main reason why our policies towards illegal immigrants and refugees, they are confused, it is that as per Indian law, both categories of people, they are viewed as one and the same, and they are covered under this Foreigners Act. Okay, so whatever the act which is present in India, that is Foreigners Act of 1946. Okay, so what happened, the policies which is under this Foreigners Act of 1956, so people are saying that they will be covered under this Foreigners Act, but this Foreigners Act will not be dealing with the problems which are mainly faced by these refugees. And next one is ad hocism. So because of absence of proper legal framework or proper legislation, that will also leads to policy ambiguity. Okay, and actually these ad hoc measures which mainly enable the government in office to pick and to choose what kind of refugees it wants to admit for whatever political or geopolitical reasons. So what happened, we do not have proper legal framework or legislation. So because of this, that is mainly leading to policy ambiguity. And next one is Discriminatory Citizenship Amendment Act, that is CAA. So Government of India has passed this Citizenship Amendment Act. So this CAA which mainly envisages providing citizenship to the people who are religiously minority in the Indian neighborhood. For example, Hindus, Parsis, Jains, Sikhs, Christians, but it mainly excluded these Muslims. Okay, so these are some important challenges. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding wrong solution. So actually this article which mainly talking about Haryana's law regarding reservation of 75% in the private jobs below 30,000 of salary, okay, in the private jobs. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see central theme, it mainly says that India must address urban-rural disparities and not use reservation as a panacea. So whatever the disparities or whatever the gap that is present between these urban areas and the rural areas, that need to be decreased. So whenever we want to decrease this urban and as well as rural disparities, we should not use this reservation. Okay, reservation. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. So we are talking about this article which is mainly focusing on urban-rural disparities. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail, so we can understand how to decrease this urban-rural disparities by taking example of this Haryana reservation law. So we are talking about recent Haryana law which mainly says that 75% of reservation for the locals that should be given in the private jobs, right? So the issue of reserving the private sector job for the people who are mainly belonging to that state, that is domicile of that state, it is now facing this first judicial test. Okay, it is mainly facing this first judicial test. Already you know that Supreme Court asked this Punjab and as well as Haryana High Court to decide within the 4 weeks the validity of this Haryana law. So this law which is mainly mandating 75% of reservation for the locals, especially in the private jobs, and who are mainly taking the salary of about 30,000 rupees per month. Okay, so what happened recently, Supreme Court mainly lifted the stay on that Punjab and Haryana High Court. Okay, so Punjab and Haryana High Court, they came up with a stay regarding this implementation of law, and this case which mainly appealed to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court recently lifted this stay on this law. So Supreme Court mainly says that whenever they are going to give the stay means, so they need to get the preliminary finding that it is unconstitutional, or if it is suffering from any illegality, then only we can go for giving of stay. Unless and until if there is no preliminary finding which mainly says it is unconstitutional, or if it suffers from any glaring inequality or illegality, so we cannot go for giving the stay. So because of this, Supreme Court mainly lifted the stay on this Punjab Haryana High Court order. Okay, so there are also quite a few reasons that arise when the state introduces a quota in the private sector, especially if it is based on the domicile norm. So based on the domicile, that means the place where you are living. Okay, so based on this domicile, if we are going for providing the reservation, it will lead to some issues here. So not only Haryana but also other countries, other states, they also came up with this recent law regarding this reservation for this people who are present in that state. For example, Andhra Pradesh and as well as Jharkhand, they also introduced this type of laws here. Okay, and also they promised 75% of reservation in this election manifesto. Okay, and not only that, whenever this type of statements are given by the government means that will be leading to the break in the employment situation in the country. So already you know that because of this COVID-19 pandemic, there are a number of millions of people, they lost their job, right? So if you're talking about first hurdle that a law such as this Haryana State Employment for Local Candidate Act will face is that it is a constitutional, but it is mainly violating this article, which is mainly talks about equality here. Okay, so whenever we are providing the jobs or reserving these jobs based on their place of the birth, means that will be mainly violating their right. Okay, so it is a very important thing, and it is mainly the discrimination placed based on the place of birth and as well as a place of residence. So if you're talking about our constitution which also allows government to prescribe a residential criterion for employment to public post, and it is doubtful whether such a measure can be extended to private sector or not. For example, let us take some village secretary post or volunteers post. So these are mainly reserved for the local people, because these local people, they can understand the geography easily, and they know that where all these people are living. So they know about the conditions of the people who are living there. So because of this, especially for some post, here residential criterion is a must. Okay, but there is a confusion like whether we can go for this reservation for this private jobs based on this domicile or not. So this is one important question that is present, and the industry may feel aggrieved that the residential requirement may adversely affect the hiring of talent from outside Haryana. So even we can see some talented people that they will be coming from the outside the Haryana, and they might be searching jobs in the Haryana. But whenever we are reserving 75% of jobs, means so that will be mainly affecting the hiring of the talented people who are from outside Haryana as well. And next one is, if you're talking from an individual point of view, the law may impinge on the freedom of movement, right to reside and right to settle in any part of the country, and even right to carry on any occupation. Okay, so from individual point of view also, law may impinge this freedom of movement and as well as right to reside, right to settle in any part of the country. Actually, this is a fundamental right. And next one is the act. Okay, it is the act will also cease to operate in 10 years. Okay, it will be for 10 years. And there is a question like whenever after this 10 years they will be going for extension or not. So there is no proper clarity. And next one is whenever we are going for rapid urbanization, and even if you're talking about agrarian situation. Okay, so because of this we can see there is a large scale of migration that is mainly seen in search of employment. So because of this, what are the issues that are present? We need to address those issues, and whatever the disparities that are present between these urban areas and rural areas, we need to go for addressing those issues. So this is just of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. Now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding India UAE sign major trade pact. So actually this topic is mainly talking about India UAE free trade agreement. So from last 1 week we are discussing this topic, I think so. So now let us have a once again discussion regarding this topic. If you see context, it mainly says that India and UAE, United Arab Emirates, they signed a bilateral comprehensive trade pact. Between India and UAE, now we have this bilateral comprehensive trade pact. So if you're talking about details, it mainly says that announcing this SEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. So it is one of the biggest trade pact of last 7 years, and our Prime Minister mainly welcomed this agreement, because this will be very much helpful for attracting of investments mainly from these Gulf countries to India. Especially that will be helpful in the development of Jammu and Kashmir, and even it will be also opening other new routes, okay, new routes of regional trade and as well as connectivity, etc. And now let us try to talk about some more important details. So SEPA would have strong anti-dumping measures as well. Okay, so it is also including some anti-dumping measures, and this agreement will herald a new age in our financial relations. So our Prime Minister said that this agreement will be very much helpful for further financial relations between this India and as well as UAE. And in this article it mainly says that trade between India and UAE, that is going to be increased to this pact. Okay, it will going to increase from $60 million to $100 billion. So now let us see some facts regarding India-UAE relations. So in the UAE, that is United Arab Emirates, is India's third largest trading partner. Okay, So first trading partner here is, we can say like USA and China. First and second will be the USA and China, and third will be the UAE. And we are also seeing this UAE as the second largest export destination after USA as per economic survey. So as per economic survey 2021, it mainly says that, so UAE, it is the second largest export destination after USA. And if you're talking about the bilateral trade between India and UAE, now it is like $43.3 billion as per 2020-2021 data. And if you're talking about major exports of India to UAE, mainly include some petroleum products and some precious metals, stones, gems, jewelry, minerals, food items, cereals, sugar, fruits, vegetables, tea, meat, seafood, textiles, engineering and machinery products and chemicals, etc. And India's top imports from UAE mainly includes petroleum and petroleum products, precious metals, stones, gems and jewelry, minerals, chemicals and wood, and as well as wood products. Okay, and we are mainly importing like crude oil from this UAE. It will be like $10.9 billion crude oil, and it is per 2019 to 2020 data. So this is the UAE here. Okay, this is Saudi Arabia, this is Oman. Here we have mainly Persian Gulf is there, and here we have Gulf of Oman, and here we have one small strait. Strait is nothing but a narrow passage which mainly connect the two seas or two oceans, that is the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, here we have this Strait of Hormuz, here we have Persian Gulf, here we have Gulf of Oman. So these are some important map related points that you need to remember. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding states discuss interlinking of Godavari and Kaveri. So now let us try to understand this topic. So this topic is very important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context why it is in news, Telangana state reiterated that it stands on the proposal of this interlinking of river Godavari and river Kaveri. It is a one more time that needs to access the availability of water in Godavari and how much amount of excess water they are using. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said by Telangana state government, which mainly says that whenever we want to go for interlinking of rivers, that is Godavari and Kaveri, first we need to know about availability of water, and we need to know about how much amount of water that is unused. So if we're talking about details, if you see this image, you can see different rivers which are present. So here we have Mahanadi, it is a east flowing river, and here we have Godavari, here we have Krishna, and here we have Kaveri, and here we have Narmada and Tapati. So here this article says that they are going to link this Godavari and as well as Kaveri. Okay, so here we have Arabian Sea and here we have Bay of Bengal. So if we're talking about this interlinking of Godavari and Kaveri, it is about 1465 kilometers length of this Godavari and Kaveri linking project, and about how much amount of water that can be drawn from this Godavari means it is like 247 TMC water. Okay, and 163 TMC it is a share of Telangana and as well as Andhra Pradesh. Okay, and the rest amount of the water that will be given to this Tamil Nadu through this Godavari Kaveri interlinking project. Okay, so this will be mainly helpful for going for agriculture, especially for 3.38 lakh hectares of land in Tamil Nadu. So they are going to get irrigation in these areas. So we are talking about river linking project, the National Water Development Agency that would take up a proposal to link this river Godavari and as well as river Kaveri, and they are talking about transfer of 700 TMC feet of water level to Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this is about the details you can see here. And now let us try to see some important facts. So actually this project which is mainly says that 247 TMC okay of unutilized water, especially in this Indiravati. You have to know this Indiravati sub basin of this Godavari, which is mainly diverted to this Kaveri river. So the water will be diverted from Godavari river to Nagarjuna Sagar dam. Okay, from there they will go for diverting to this Kaveri basin. So if we are talking about this Godavari Kaveri interlinking project, which mainly contains three important components. First one is Godavari Krishna, that is through Nagarjuna Sagar, and next one is Krishna Pennar, and next one is Pennar Kaveri. So these are the three important components of this Godavari Kaveri link process or linking project. So here you need to know about some facts regarding this National Water Development Agency. So it is mainly registered under Ministry of Jal Shakti. Actually, this National Water Development Agency, which was formed in year 1982, and this is one of the important functions of this National Water Development Agency. It is to conduct detailed study, and it can go for surveys, investigations. Okay, so that can be done, and finally it will be giving the nod for this projects. So this is the gist of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding new gecko. Okay, gecko is nothing but lizard. I think you can see lizards in your bathrooms, in your rooms, and in your home itself, right? So these are the geckos. Okay, so these are the one of the gecko. So now this gecko, it is very special because it got army tag. So now let us try to see this topic. It is important from your environment and ecology. So before seeing this, I want to give you today's homework. Today's homework is, let me know what are the concerns. What are the concerns when we are going for this interlinking of rivers? So whenever we are linking one river with another river, what will be the problems? What are the challenges and what are the concerns that we can see? So please let me know in comment box. And in tomorrow's lecture, I will be announcing the name of that student who gives this good way forward or good amount of content. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. If you see context, it mainly says that a lizard new to science is wearing the Indian Army tag. Okay, so a lizard which is new to the science is wearing a new army tag here. So because of it is very special. So if you see details, it mainly says that the team of herpetologists, they have recorded a new species of bent-toed gecko. Okay, it is mainly found in the wooded part of Umroi military station in Meghalaya. Okay, so in Meghalaya military station, here herpetologists, they mainly found this new species of gecko, and the scientific name of that gecko is Cystodactylus exarticus. It is an English name. Okay, it is an English name. And if you are talking about the name, which is mainly given to honor this army for its services to country, and even the military station where this bent-toed gecko was discovered. It is also one of the important factors behind the name for this gecko. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding hydrogen policy. Hydrogen policy mainly calls for more incentives, which is mainly said by experts. This article is very important, especially from your GS paper 2 point of view. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that the green hydrogen policy, which mainly announced by government, which mainly says that some experts have says that it will mainly address the issues only partially, but we need some more incentives regarding this hydrogen policy. So this is the thing which mainly said by experts. So this India's new green hydrogen policy, which was unveiled, and as well as it is also promising cheaper renewable energy, and it is also talking about 25 years free waiver for interstate power transmission as well. Okay, so these are the things, some important things which mainly said by the government, and it will be helpful for producers the most. So if you see details, it mainly says that, so the important aim of this policy, it is mainly to boost green hydrogen and even ammonia. So this will be helpful mainly for generation of green power. And here this project also proposes the construction of bunkers near the ports, for as well as it will be helpful for even storage of green ammonia as well. And if you are talking about what is the importance of this green energy, so our Prime Minister, who mainly announced that we are going to achieve this carbon neutrality by 2070, and when we want to achieve the targets of this Paris climate deal, so this will be very important to come up with some changes, right? So if we are talking about importance of green energy for India, so the race for green energy mainly takes a very important, as ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis has pushed up energy prices around the world, particularly in India, which mainly imports 85% of its oil and 53% of its natural gas. Okay, so as you all know that India, it is the largest importer of this crude oil and as well as natural gas, and whenever we are using these fossil fuels, that will be also having a danger, like that will increase this greenhouse gas emissions. So because of this, that will lead to global warming. So because of this, we need to move towards this green energy, and many countries, they are mainly moving towards this green energy in a race. Okay, so the transformation to a large scale hydrogen fuel, that will be very much helpful for India's geopolitical influence as well, and that will be helpful for energy security of India. Okay, India's strategy, it is mainly to use vast land mass and low solar and wind tariffs to manufacture this low cost hydrogen. Okay, so that will be very much helpful. So if you're talking about domestic boost which mainly caused by this policy, so what is a domestic boost which mainly caused? So this new renewable energy facilities, they mainly built especially to produce power, okay, and they are mainly aiming to generate this green hydrogen before this July 2025, okay, and it will receive about 25 years of free power transmission due to the new policy. And this move, it is mainly projected to make green hydrogen production, which is the most cost efficient, and even that will be helpful especially for the alternative fuel for this fossil fuels. And if you're talking about green hydrogen, we are having blue hydrogen, brown hydrogen and green hydrogen. So green hydrogen means whenever we are going for electrolysis, that is breaking of water, then that will leads to a lot of amount of energy, that is called as our green hydrogen. So now let us try to see answers for the yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding atmosphere. So whenever there is increasing of concentration of oxygen, okay, then what will be the impact? So whenever there is increasing of oxygen means we can also see there will be the increasing of free radicals. So because of this free radical, that will leads to the death of the cells, everything. So we will die young. Yes, this is the first statement which is absolutely correct. And this one is most insects will be grow bigger in size. So in the insects we will be having bronchi, trachea. What happened? Those mainly used it for the respiration purpose. So whenever there is high amount of oxygen means they will be growing in bigger size. Okay, and next one is they will be less prone to sickness. Yes, oxygen is one of the important thing. And next one is our vehicles will have better mileage. So mileage, actually burning of fuel, it is mainly depend upon atmospheric oxygen. So whenever there is a more atmospheric oxygen means more burning of fuel, that is complete burning of fuel. So we can see it can give more mileage. So here correct option is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All options are correct. And next question is the ecological footprint. It is a measure of human demand on the earth ecosystem. It is mainly measures. So it mainly talking about ecological footprint. So first one is how much of biological capacity of a planet demanded by the given human activity or population. So it is not at all correct, it is incorrect. Okay, and you can eliminate these statements. And this one is ecological footprint is calculated by overall activity of a nation or a population and activities such as industrialization. It is not at all correct, right? And next one is the disadvantage of this ecological footprint. It is that it cannot be calculated for individual people or area. Yes, this is correct. So that option will be the 4, 3 only. And now let us try to see today's questions. So before seeing today's questions, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. We in Rathod's Eyes, we came with a number of courses like prelims test series, mains answer writing course and even full foundational course, and we also came with individual courses. So this prelims test series is very useful. We are providing 30 tests. Okay, so in this 30 test, which mainly includes both CSAT and as well as GS, that will be very beneficial. And this one is mains answer writing course. In this mains answer writing course, you will be mainly having number of things like we will be giving you the weekly targets. So whenever we are giving weekly targets, that will be helpful for the consistency in your preparation, and daily just one question will be given based on that weekly syllabus. So you have to suppose to send that question to our email ID so that there will be evaluation, one-to-one mentorship that will be given under this mains answer writing course. So if you join this course, I will assure you that within 1 year you are going to complete entire GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 for sure. Okay, and the new batch for this mains answer writing course will be going to be started from March 1st week. So if you are interested, so please arrange the money and try to join this course. It will be absolutely beneficial. And next one is foundational course, and we also launched entire foundational course for UPSC CSE 2023. And here in this course we are providing like more than 700 hours of video lectures, such that we will be having a conceptual clarity and each and every topic in your syllabus is discussed. And next one is if you already done your foundational course, so you can join these individual courses. So in which subjects you are weak, for example economy, history, geography, like that, so you can take that individual courses also. So in this way these courses are very beneficial. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513. So these courses you can see in our website Rathod's Eyes Academy. And if you are visiting our website for the first time, it will ask for register. So you have to register with your email ID. Then after that you can watch the demo videos from these courses without paying a single penny. Okay, And one more thing is, if you want to download the app of Rathod's IAS, you can download the app, and the link is also given in the description box. Okay, so now let us try to see the today's questions. So first question is regarding this mutualism. Okay, first question is regarding this mutualism. So here you have to read the statements and try to answer the correct answer, and you can give your answer in the comment box. And next question is regarding bioluminescence, that is emission of light by living organisms. So which of the following organisms they will release the light, or they will emit the light? So you have to select the correct option here. So let me know your options and let me know your opinion regarding interlinking of rivers in the comment box. And in the tomorrow's lecture, I will be announcing the student, student name, especially who gave the good information and who is having the good perspective regarding the topic. So by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.